Hej, and welcome to Rauta's Black Metal Reviews. Svart Metal from Sweden with the band called Blodulv, a Swedish band that existed from 2002 to 2005 and now reissues out by Ophidian Sun, both on digipack CDs as LPs. Now, with the previous episodes, I already went through the album 1 and 2, and now it's time for the third and the last one, since this band only existed indeed for 3 years, during which time 3 albums out, then some splits and compilations. Now, where's the first 2 albums from 2002 and 2003? Were raw end of black metal, kind of a Ildjarn-like. Well, the third one called Burial, after the Roman numbers of 3. This is not exactly much different. I mean, it's given that all these albums have certain differences, but mainly carved from one and the same rock. So, basically saying, if you like one of the albums, you're bound to like all of them, just with a little bit of nuanceical. I don't know if that's a real word, but well, the differences are quite on the nuance detail levels. And as with the previous ones, I will also unbox this vinyl version, which is still wrapped. And like with the previous videos of the same band, CDs were used for reviewing purposes. LPs are more for showing you what you got, what you get if you are aiming for vinyl versions. This one has 5 songs on the side A and 4 on the B side, including outro and intro respectively. And here it is, maybe the coolest looking cover by Blodulv Records so far. And much like those 2 previous ones, this is also nice looking gatefold. You will have lyrics on one side and the band photos as well as liner notes on the other side. Also, as with the previous version, comes with a poster, and of course, inside we will also find a vinyl with the now iconic Iron Cross design, Blodulv, saying on both sides. And as I was estimating with my previous version, I think this is 180 grams, because it's indeed quite sturdy. You know, when you get those more thin vinyl ones, they're kind of a flippy, you know. This one is more sturdy, which definitely adds to the value of the release. And now I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So here we have, once again, the Iron Cross poster on the other side, and on the other side, obviously, this human skull design. Looks nice, especially if you're a fan and you like to put these on your wall. So, like I said, with the previous reviews, might feel like a recap if you watched them all. Blodulv did indeed 3 albums, 2003, 2004 and 2005, not 2002 and 2003, which I was probably saying earlier, starting with Chris Krossare in 2003, the first demo, and then the band has put out a few splits, couple of EPs and a compilation. But this one is about the album number 3, namely 3 Burial. Much like the previous one, this is less than 50 minutes, but more than 45 minutes. The previous one, the second album, was 45 minutes, a little bit less. And as such, this has a little bit more material, but now it's a little bit more focused, at least when it comes to track lengths. So versus 7 songs, this is now 9, and none of the songs are more than less than 6 minutes. Oh, sorry, there's a couple of tracks more than 6 minutes, but less than 7 minutes. And the previous one actually had a couple of songs from 7 to 8, 9 minutes or so, which was, in my opinion, a little bit too much. Now, when it comes to songwriting qualities of this album, this is pretty much like the previous one, but now with more electronics added into the mix, and starts and ends, this outro and intro, with kind of a noisier electronic experimentations, which are not definitely for everybody. That is, people who want to really stick to old school metal might feel Burial the least appealing in the sense of, you know, dealing with the raw end of black metal. But when it comes to the main songwriting on the album, I mean, it's very, very close to album number 2. These are as inseparable counterparts as, say, with Darkthrone when you have the Transylvanian Hunger and Under Ophidian Moon. Basically carved from one and the same rock. Then again, we could really say the same about all of these 3 albums, 1, 2, and 3. They're all raw end of black metal, reminding me mostly of Ildiarn and other such primitive raw end of black metal, both with the kind of production values as well as songwriting, and not to mention those distorted vocals. Those who don't like distorted vocals are gonna feel like these vocals are a little bit off. But then again, if you don't mind that rather Burzum-like approach to vocals being distorted, lots of effects on top of raspier vocal output, that actually is quite, working nicely into context of raw end of black metal. This is probably not the kind of black metal you're gonna invite your new girlfriend over and, for a glass of wine and then put some Blodulv on the player. I mean, if you do have that kind of a new girlfriend and she's really cool with it, maybe you have a keeper. That being said, Blodulv is definitely the kind of acquired taste of a band. With 3 albums in and then some, it's kind of evident that this is the kind of a black metal you really have to be ready to embrace a raw end of it. Now, if you're looking for some kind of melodics or atmospheric symphonic black metal, this is pretty much like no-go zone. But if you are into raw end of black metal, especially hailing from parts where you feel like bands like Ildiarn or Hot, and somewhat Burzum, Darkthrone, what have you, is the kind of a thing. Or even Arcanum. I think I said with the first Blodulv review of mine that Blodulv is basically like Arcanum and Ildiarn having a baby. So kind of 2 different outputs of raw end of black metal, but a little bit Swedish in the mix as well as Norwegian. And then you have this one. And if you're into those kind of bands, this is definitely something that you don't want to miss. Now, that being said, however, and compared to some of the best in the business, I would say this is not as good as Ildiarn or Arcanum, because those are among my favorite black metal bands, but still a very good attempt to nail down the feeling, the raw end of caveman stuff that what those bands were doing. I'm saying were because none of these bands exist anymore. So all we have left from those bands are something in the past. And to that extent, Blodulv is a good addition. One could even say Armageddon is roughly a little bit here and there among the songs and songwriting or the feeling in general, but also different. So don't expect any kind of a typical Swedish melodic output when you're thinking of Swedish black metal and then going from Blodulv, because you're gonna be disappointed. But if raw end of black metal is really what you're looking for, these are not the albums or the band that to be missed. That being said, check out the description box for links and more information, or use your magical googling skill to check out the music. And if you like the band, go for the physical product as always, CD and LP available as shown you earlier in this video. So now I hope you give it a go and I hope you like it. This is Rauta. Take care, stay metal, stay brutal.